Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk about all of my favorite heroines. So I think generally when we talk about romances, we tend to talk about the hero or the other partner, but we don't focus too much on the character that is like the main character, the one we're following most often, the heroine. We never really talk about her, but I want to spotlight some heroines that I think are badass, that are fantastic, that are so strong and great and just perfection. So the first one that I have to recommend to you is The Wicked and the Wallflower. So this is about a woman who is a wallflower. Now she was originally like considered a diamond of the season, and she got along with everybody. She was in the popular group, and then she is embroiled in a scandal that leaves her as a wallflower, as an outcast, and she is forced to live on the fringes, and she is kind of bullied by the people that she used to be friends with. And one day they're at a ball and they are bullying her, nitpicking at her, and she makes a comment that she is engaged. She is better than them because she is engaged to a duke. Now this duke doesn't come out in society all that much, so she doesn't anticipate that he will call her bluff. And the hero is the duke's brother, and he is actually attending the ball and overhears this conversation because he is there to threaten the duke. And we find out that there's a very tumultuous relationship between the duke and the hero because of some things in their past, and the duke actually runs like a illegal alcohol running ring, I guess, with his other siblings. And the heroine in this is so fantastic. She's so smart and intelligent and feisty. There are several scenes where she like picks the locks. He has like these reinforced super strong locks that are unpickable, and she manages to pick them, and she's so witty and clever, and she calls his bluff constantly and is constantly talking crap to him, and she is just the perfect match for like the dominant personality that is Devil, and she just matches him stride for stride. We then have How to Love a Duke in 10 Days. This is another historical romance about a woman. In the beginning of the book, she is assaulted by her principal at her private school, and it results in her killing him, and her two friends and the gardener of the private school end up burying the body. And we flash forward 10 years later. One of the girls that helped her bury the body sends her a letter that she is in trouble and she needs her to come to this like little coastal castle, and the letter doesn't say anything else. So the heroine travels to this coast, and when she gets off the train, she's actually involved in an accident where a horse is about to run her down, and the hero kind of helps her out. So she gets to the castle and she sees her friend, and her friend tells her that the duke is who she's engaged to, but his family is possibly the culprit behind her family being killed. The guy that she ran into at the train station is the same guy that her friend is engaged to, and it starts this delightful antagonistic relationship where the hero is saving the heroine, but the heroine is hiding this big secret, and she's also trying to hide her affection for him because he could possibly be involved in this thing that was very traumatic for her friend. The thing that I love most about her is that she is incredibly headstrong, she is incredibly feisty, but she knows how to be vulnerable. There is a very important part of the book where she has to deal with the trauma of her assault and address this with the hero. She is willing to be vulnerable with him if he is willing to be vulnerable with her, and the way that they coexist together is fantastic. I think the ability for her to strip down all of those defenses that she has and feel comfortable with him and feel strong enough with him to talk about those traumas is great. And I think she's just a fantastic and dynamic character. So we then have A Taste of Her Own Medicine. This is a small town romance about a single mother who just got out of a bad divorce, and she is attempting to get back into the professional field. She wants to open her own potions and lotions shop. That's what she calls it, potions and lotions, or lotions and potions. And she is determined to be independent. So she starts taking this business course, and the hero is the one that is running it. The thing that is so fantastic about her is she is so determined to be independent. She is so strong and willing to take on the burdens of everything herself, and she wants to prove that she can be better than what her husband or ex-husband thinks of her. She wants to provide for her children, and she wants to take life in her own hands, and she doesn't let anything stop her from doing that. When she is faced with the adversity of the hero's conflict, the problems with the hero, she doesn't let that stop her. She is determined to open this business and provide for her children, and it's so fantastic to see a single mother who is pushing for the quality of her own life. So I then have 2 books by the same author, so I will kind of talk about them in tandem. We have Longshot and Grip. So these are 2 very different heroines by the same author. So Longshot is the first book in the Hoops series by Kennedy Ryan, and Grip is the first book in the Grip trilogy by Kennedy Ryan. So Longshot is about a woman who is in an incredibly abusive relationship. It is on-page abuse, and she ends up getting pregnant by this man that is abusing her. And the hero is her husband's rival, like basketball rival. And the majority of this book is spent with her trying to get out of this relationship, and she's incredibly resilient. Seeing the way that she protects herself and the way that she fights for her own life and the way that she fights for her child, and how she gets out of this relationship is just absolutely brilliant. The little bits of joy she's able to grasp from being a mother and the interactions with the hero and participating in activities in her community is fantastic. She's just so strong, and she's written so believably. And then Grip is about Bristol and Grip, who Bristol is the manager for Grip, who is a rapper. And Bristol has a lot of baggage. She previously had this interaction, this spark with Grip, and she found out that he was still with his girlfriend at the time, and his girlfriend thought she was pregnant, all of that. She doesn't trust him anymore because she has this history with her parents. Her parents definitely favored her brother, who was this aspiring piano prodigy. They really didn't appreciate each other. They didn't appreciate her or see her. They kind of just shipped her off to tutors and to boarding schools, and they didn't really see her as like a valuable member of their family who was going to do great things. And her parents had a very rough relationship as well. Her father was not committed to her mother. She actually walked in on her father cheating on her mother, and she saw her mother become visibly devastated by this, and it changed the way that she views love. And so she goes into this relationship with Grip with so much animosity and fear. And so watching her work through those personal barriers with Grip was fantastic. There is something that happens in the 3rd book that they have to work through together again. And watching this couple strive and break through all of the barriers that are in the way is just beautiful to watch. It's such a dynamic and well fleshed out heroine that I just felt so connected to her and her experiences. We then have Her Soul for Revenge, which is actually the 2nd book in the Souls trilogy, but I would say that you could read this as its own book because they follow the same timeline. But if you don't prefer those and you read the first one, I will say that the timeline for me was not as close as enough as to be annoying. So this is about the heroine who, when she was 15 years old, there is a cult in her town that attempts to sacrifice her, and she gets away, and she comes back and she decides that she's going to get revenge on them, and to do so she enlists the help of a demon. And I loved the heroine. I love the heroine. I like the hero in this story, but I definitely think the standout character is the heroine. She has been on the run since she was 15 years old, so she's incredibly resourceful, and she is not ashamed of anything that she enjoys or anything that she has to do in life to get her revenge. She will quite literally sell her soul, which she did, and she will kill anyone. She will do anything to get revenge on the people that hurt her. But she's also willing to be open with the hero about what she wants, what she desires, what she needs, and she's open to other people helping her, and she's willing to put her trust in other people when you otherwise might have more of a prickly heroine who kind of just is like, fuck everyone. She is weary, but she's also willing to open up to the people around her, which I just think is delightful and such a change of pace. We then have The Bully, which I adore. This is the third book in the Kingmaker series, which is a mafia school series. It is a spin-off of the Brutal Birthright series. I personally find this one to be better just all around, but this is about Dean and Kat. You know which ones are my absolute favorite if I remember their names. But Kat is part of this group in the mafia school called the Spies. Now, in the previous books, Kat was very meek, very mild. In her sister's book, she is kind of someone that like doesn't really know how to be in the mafia life. She's very soft, and she never wanted to be in the mafia. And then when she's forced to go to this school, she gets put in the spy category, which she doesn't really feel like fits her, because spies are supposed to be crafty and secretive and very, very intelligent, and they like weasel their way into places, and she just doesn't really feel like she is on that level to be a spy. And watching her grow at the school and grow into the spy characteristics of herself is great. The way that she builds her confidence by interacting with the people at her school, her relationship with Dean, the things that being in the relationship with Dean opens up about herself, and the trials and tribulations that happen at the school build this character out of Kat, that she discovers these elements to herself that she didn't think existed, or she didn't think that she was good enough to have these aspirations and these gifts that people assume that a spy has. Watching her slide into this role was absolutely so entertaining, fantastic, believable, amazing to watch. So definitely one of my favorite heroines. Their dynamic is fantastic, and I think their dynamic fits their relationship very, very well, and I think Kat is just done well. And another book by, again, the same author, There Are No Saints. This is about Mara, who is a very similar character to Kat in some ways, but very different. Something that I really love about Sophie Lark is all of her heroines have the same thread through them, but they're very different in other ways. So they're all very independent, they're very strong, and very aware of what they want from life, and they have that backbone, but they're different in other ways. So Mara is this poor girl who has always wanted to be an artist. She lives in this small, dingy attic apartment, and she is doing odd jobs so that she can afford to rent an art studio. She catches the attention of two men who are rivals. They are very well-known artists in the scene, and they are often pitted against each other, and they're also serial killers. Cole is more of a psychopath, and Shaw is more of a sociopath. So Cole is very cold and calculating, and everything he does has a meaning. And one day, Shaw notices that Mara has caught Cole's eye, so Shaw kidnaps Mara and leaves her as a gift for Cole. But it doesn't really, at the moment, strike Cole's fancy. He doesn't really seem to care. And then he slowly becomes obsessed with Mara, and he doesn't really care how she feels about it. He does some very outlandish things. He rents an apartment so that he can watch her. He breaks into her house and steals her panties. There's a very number of things that he does to her, and the entire read, you're not really sure if he plans to kill her or he plans to keep her. You don't really know. The reason that I love Mara so much is because she matches his energy immediately. She plays his game. She calls his bluff. She has the appropriate amount of like scared, like this person might kill me, but also she has some hidden depths to her that surprise Cole, and she has that backbone and that strength, that resilience to survive and get through anything that is pushed against her. So I love Mara. We then have The Risk. Now, I don't have too much to rave about this one because I've just read the first book in this series, but this is actually about a woman who is a serial killer. She is killing people to get revenge for something that happened to her when she was a kid, and an FBI agent who is investigating her murders. And the dynamic between the two is so fun. The heroine has these moments of just like charisma and funniness and this like bubbly personality with the hero. She's also like this ruthless killer, so it's a very interesting dynamic. She's a very fun character to follow, and she makes the story interesting. And then the last one that I have to recommend to you is Run, Posey, Run. This is a mafia romance, and in the beginning of the book, Dara, who is the hero, and the heroine Posey are in a relationship, and he gets sent a sex tape of Posey that makes him think that Posey's cheating on him. So he basically tells her, like, get out. If I ever see your face again, I'll kill you. Then he realizes his mistake. He realizes that the evidence has been fabricated, and now his mafia bosses are planning to kill her, and he decides that no one can kill her but him, so he takes her captive. And the thing that I love most about Posey is she's so intelligent and calculated. There is a heavy emphasis on their interactions playing out like a chess game. She is always 2 steps ahead of Dara, and despite the fact that she didn't really see this relationship coming, like she didn't see the fakeness of him and the way that he calculated his appearance or calculated their relationship, manipulated their relationship to keep her happy, despite not seeing that, now that the veil has been lifted about who he really is, she sees everything. She sees right through him. She is 5-10 steps ahead of him. She's incredibly intelligent and calculated, and she also recognizes that despite the fact that he doesn't maybe have these stereotypical feelings of love, he has exactly what she needs out of a partner. She doesn't want love in the typical sense. She just wants someone to give her attention and make her feel safe. And she doesn't really care who he is as a person. She doesn't care that he launders money or that he's involved in the mafia. She cares about what she wants, and is he giving it to her, and how can she get it? And she's so intelligent, and it's fantastic to read. So those are all of the recommendations that I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments some of your favorite heroines. I would love to know. If you don't have anything to say, leave the nail polish emoji down in the comments. I will catch you guys in my next one, and thanks so much for watching.